And we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is everybody doing? Happy Monday. Today is the 17th of April, 2023. It's about 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Bitcoin's currently sitting at 29,000, about $500. Today, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff with the price, what's going on with possible alt season happening right now, maybe a little mini one. And the latest crypto news that's going on in the crypto world over the last few days or so. Today with me, I have my co-host, the Bitcoin Queen. How you doing, Bitcoin Queen?
Pretty good, can't complain. It's been a eventful week, so I'm excited to dive in.
Yes, for sure. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time and let's dive right into what we're gonna be covering today. The first thing we're going to start off, like always, is Bitcoin's price. Where is it right now? As you guys can see, $29,481 to be exact as of this recording, right? So we are down a bit today. We're down almost 3%. The day started off, kind of above 30,000 and we've dropped below it. We did end up the week, we closed above 30,000 for the first time since May of last year. So 11 months since we've closed above $30,000 for the week. And now we're just kind of ranging here. I'm not surprised. I'm expecting to see a little bit of range here, anywhere between like 28,000 to $31,000. I wouldn't be surprised to see that over the next couple of weeks, because there's no real big catalyst that we're gonna be coming across until the 3rd of May, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the economic calendar. But let's take a look at Ethereum. As we know, Ethereum last week had an incredible run. It broke above $2,000 for the first time also since May, and actually went up as high as $2,146 yesterday. So it set up a new higher high, not only a new higher high, but a new high, recent high. That's the highest that it's been priced again in 11 months, just like Bitcoin. So right now it's having a little bit of a pullback, down almost 2%, but it's definitely been outperforming Bitcoin. And because of that, we've seen altcoins recently in the last week or so begin to also rally and outperform Bitcoin. So we're gonna take a look at that right now. Let's look at the overall market here. You can see if we look over the last 24 hours, we have a little bit of a pullback, but we do see a run up in Avalanche, up over 8% here in the last 24 hours, up over 17% in the last week. And if we keep going down, we'll see kind of more of the same. A lot of red today due to this pullback currently. If we go here and take a look at the top gainers and top losers over the last 7 days in the top 100 market cap, you can see the number one spot in the last 7 days goes to Radix or Radix. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced, but it's up 70% in the last 7 days. And the biggest loser right now is Caspa, down 17% in the last 7 days. So a couple things to keep an eye on. Some others that have been performing really well over the last 7 days. Arbitrum, it finally started to move up again. It's up at 162 right now. It's up 37% over the last 7 days. We have Rocket Pool. That's one that's been popping up a lot recently. I know I've been hearing about it a lot recently. We have OKB, which is an exchange token for, I think it's OKX. It's up 27.8%. We have Solana coming alive again, up over 21%. Avalanche, like we just spoke about, up 19%. We have the Graph, which is an AI AI related project, 15.5%. Phantom showing some life again. So we even have Near Protocol and Chainlink here. Cardano's up here. So we've had a lot of different altcoins once again begin to make that run up, begin to move up, and really outperform Bitcoin there. So we'll get a little bit more into that when we get into the analysis part of today's live stream. But first, I just wanted to kind of take a look at what was going on in the overall market today. So let's jump into the economic calendar here. The next thing I want to look at, and if we look at the economic calendar for this week, nothing really big pops up. We have a couple people from the Fed speaking, so that can, bring a little bit of volatility. I don't expect anything crazy. Other than that, if we just continue going down, we have on the 26 durable goods. Those reports are coming out, and again, I don't think that'll impact any or create volatility, too much volatility in the market. Maybe on April 27th, we have the GDP growth rate. If that's something that's underwhelming or overwhelming, could create some volatility within the market. So maybe that's the biggest thing to keep an eye on for the remainder of the month. And then the next really big thing that we have coming out is not going to be until the 3rd of May, which is right here, Wednesday, May 3rd. We have the Fed interest rate decision and the Fed press conference there. So that's at 2 and 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 3rd of May. That's the next big catalyst that's going to probably bring volatility once again into the market. And it'll be a catalyst to make or break a resistance or support zone. So that's the next really big thing we have to keep an eye on. That's pretty much it as far as the economic calendar. So kind of boring compared to last week, right? And as far as the Fed rate decisions, right now, the market is anticipating a rate hike of 25 basis points. Once again, there's an 88% chance right now that that's what's going to happen. So the probability is at 88% right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's jump into some news. And I'm going to let Bitcoin Queen take it away with the news.
Alrighty, so can you see me okay? I noticed my camera was turning.
Yeah, I see you.
Turned off again.
Yep.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about the news. One thing that is kind of, I've been seeing it on Twitter recently around the unstaking and staking of Ethereum. I'll kind of just say this one off the rip because I just saw it again come up on my feed. So pretty much there's a lot of people that are, I guess, not happy / worried / are of the mindset that Ethereum staking is a security risk. And this is very simply put because when you do stake Ethereum and you do basically like broadcast to the network, it uses your IP address. So basically you need to reveal your IP address to the network in order to stake and unstake your coins. So a lot of people, that's been the buzz this morning within the Ethereum community. A lot of people are saying that's a security risk. Of course, some people use things like VPNs that help, mask, but I don't know how VPNs react, particularly with the network and whether or not that is a thing. There are some services that you can't really use VPNs with, like for example, streaming services. So I don't know how Ethereum handles that, but it's just a hot take in the news this morning. Other than that, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in government. So the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, has been under fire recently. Newest news that came out this morning was actually things like Algorand, Dash, OMG Coin. They have all been deemed as securities. And the reason that they've been deemed securities is because they advertised their sale of tokens. Now, interestingly enough, Gary Gensler is out of MIT, as some of us know, and so is Algorand. So there's actually clips of him online circulating on Twitter of him talking about Algorand and promoting Algorand. And, here the SEC is slapping algo with, hey, you're a security. So the joke right now online is Gary Gensler going to get hit with the same $1.26 million fine Kim Kardashian did? Yeah, he's been under fire this past week. There's been actually congressmen and even Hester Pierce has called him out in the past. Basically, they would like to replace Gary Gensler. There's a bill going around in office right now to replace the chairman of the SEC with a executive director role instead. Basically, to reduce the power, I guess, that the chairman has or think he has. A lot of people believe that Gary Gensler has been like overstepping his rule, especially when it comes to the crypto space in general. So he is facing some scrutiny there. We'll see what happens. Basically, the executive director, instead of just being the head honcho, would report to the board, and then the board would choose these issues, I guess, amongst themselves instead of the one guy saying this is what we're gonna do and that's it. So yeah, let's see what happens with Gary. Have you seen any hot takes with Gary recently, Jay?
Hey, I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, but he posts some really cringy videos sometimes. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
Oh, I've
He's
seen the steak one where he was
Yes.
talking about staking.
Oh my God, that
I
was
saw the one when Kim Kardashian got in trouble, and he was like celebrity endorsements, blah blah blah. Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
I've seen his. Those are literally the cringiest, most corny videos, and they try so hard to make it funny, and it's not.
yeah,
Oh
it's not
man,
great.
it's so bad. But
Nobody wants the guy who's supposed to be like, telling them how to, I guess, be safe with their money, be funny, and it's just not a good look.
yeah, and but yeah, I mean, overall, he's definitely. I remember when he first came in to SEC that he had experience like giving a pro. Well, I don't know if it was pro crypto, but he had given courses on crypto. So the whole crypto community was like, "Oh my God, like this is gonna be
Yeah,
great for crypto."
no,
And it's
pretty much.
it's been the complete opposite, man. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know how far that bill will go, but that's interesting to see what's going on with that.
Yeah, no, pretty much. And this is why people are like, get this guy out of here. He doesn't know what he's doing. They're also scrutinizing him because he had very little to say during the FTX Sam Bankman-Fried case. He didn't have much to say, but he sure did endorse and advise him in some situations. So it's quite interesting to see what's playing out. There's definitely some fire under this guy's seat right now, and we will see what happens. I don't necessarily know what it takes to switch out the SEC chairman, but time will tell. So other than that, just piggybacking off FTX. So FTX has supposedly recovered $7.3 billion in assets and is planning to relaunch. They are reconsidering relaunching the FTX exchange in the first or second quarter of 2024. So this is a year
That is
away.
wild.
This is not anything that's anytime soon, but the new CEO that was put into place, I think I had mentioned this last week that they were thinking about doing this, or maybe I was talking about it with someone offline, but I remember when the CEO came in, he had said something about him trying to get back to business and all this stuff. So I'm not surprised that they are in talks of rebooting the exchange. So we'll see what happens there. Now with this money that they've accumulated, whose money is that? Where is it going? Are you returning it to customers? Because you recoup this money, but you recouped it and it belongs to other people, like theoretically. So I'm not sure how they are going to distribute, you know, basically what's been lost. I don't know if they will, I don't know, do right by the people, because that's pretty much what needs to happen here. They need to do right by the people,
Yep.
and yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that is wild that after everything that's happened and the catastrophe that they've caused in the crypto space, that they're trying to relaunch. Like they have zero trust. I don't know how that's gonna happen. I would imagine there would have to be some sort of rebrand probably if they were to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, they have to rebrand. I mean, they really have to do like a
Mhm.
push. They have to get some sense of insurance or security for deposits. Like, it really needs to be done properly, because otherwise it's just a disaster. It's the same thing with Celsius. Like, Celsius
Yeah.
was like, hey, we're going to try to reboot and relaunch and reconstruct this and that. And it's like, I would never put my money there again.
Yeah.
I would never in a million years use their product or service. And it's like, I don't know how, these people who can have the capacity of successfully driving forward after such things happen, but probably something along the lines of rebranding and, again, insurance, business models, something needs to happen there, because it's not great.
Yeah, I think that their priority should not be on trying to relaunch. It should be on getting the customers all their money back. Then after
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
once they've done all of that, then they can maybe consider relaunching, and they can use that.
Right.
Look, they can use that as, look, we didn't, no customers lost money. We made sure that we got all their money back. So that might
Yeah.
be able to build some trust. But again, like even if all that happened, they gave all customers back their funds, and I wouldn't put my money in there if they rebranded, or if they just launched again, relaunch, whatever it is. I wouldn't put my money in there.
It's definitely a tough call. And there's a lot of services that are coming out these days. I mean, exchanges are unique in the sense that you can do leverage trading and things of that nature. But I mean, there's products such as MetaMask that launched, I guess, a week ago, or they're planning to launch recently. They're launching the ability for you to directly purchase cryptocurrencies with your fiat right through their wallet. So, we're at the point where all you need to do is, have a MetaMask, and basically you have an on ramp, and it's gotten pretty easy, to the point where people don't really need to sign up for exchanges. Now, I don't know how a lot of these things are doing. I mean, they have to have KYC to some extent, I'm assuming. If it is MetaMask, and at that point in time, that's a very interesting, I guess. Yeah, they need to. I don't know. I fear for some of these companies getting I don't want to say, I guess, interrogated by the government, because we're falling into, very fine lines with the SEC. I guess something I didn't mention is, DeFi. DeFi supposedly is going to fall within the SEC's jurisdiction now, or so they're trying to update the meaning of an exchange and what it means to be an exchange that is overseen by the SEC. So, because of this, they're trying to do anything that's decentralized finance to fall under their ruling, and it's kind of insane. It basically negates everything we've been building in terms of having decentralized finance, and not needing, all this information to, transact. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild. And for MetaMask, all you need to do to onboard is basically a credit card, a debit card, ACH wire, even PayPal. So I mean, I guess they will be collecting some sense of information there, but the more the SEC tries to scrutinize these cryptocurrencies and say their security, the more of a gray area we start operating in when it comes to stuff like this, and it's a little freaky.
Yep, 100%. That's wild. I'm gonna have to test it out because I'm also curious as to what information are they gonna require from you in order to make those? Because I remember I've used exchanges before where there's no KYC or anything like that required, but if or like as long as you were just like trading within the app. But then if you tried to on ramp from fiat to crypto, then they started asking you for more information. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
Yeah. So
Because then you're basically pegging yourself to a geography. I mean,
right.
like theoretically, if you are somebody who's within the U.S., you can be here on vacation. You can be here, on a layover. They don't know, just because you're accessing an app from the U.S. doesn't mean that you are in fact a U.S. citizen. But when you're on ramping in USD, that is a different story. So yeah, it's I'm interested to see because I mean, if they don't ask for anything, I will be extremely surprised, and I will be very sad if the government's like, "Hey, MetaMask, you messed up." Because it's just one of those things. Like they're right now they're getting a lot of exchanges for not having money transmitter licenses. That is something that exchanges that you know didn't pick up a lot of this information or have these crypto on ramps without having some of these things in place. That's what they're getting them for. They're hitting them with, "Hey, you didn't have a money transmitter's license, so you violated our blah 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 blah." So I don't know. Interested in seeing how it works. I guess the only bad part is if once you do start, connecting a MetaMask to like a bank account or something, you're basically doxing yourself. So it's definitely something that you need to think about before you do and/or create a new wallet, or if that is a concern, I would think twice about how you start functioning.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing that I think we're gonna cover is, well, Solana's been on a rally recently. What's going on with Solana?
Solana. Oh, have they been up in altcoin season? Have they been doing good?
Yeah, yeah. They recently, I think they were up
Well, I
like
mean, after you go so low, you got to go somewhere, right?
right. So I think it's currently trading around $25. They might have hit 26 last night. But yeah,
Okay.
but it's up like
Okay.
20% in the last week.
All right. Well, that's not too bad. So, I mean, Solana is basically finally rolling out their phone. Now, a couple months ago, we saw that a lot of those Solana spaces had shut down. Specifically, the one in Wynwood in Miami had shut down. I'm not sure about the one in New York. The purpose of those spaces was basically to sell these consumer goods to the public. And with that being said, I guess their mobile phone saga is finally here. It's ready for pre-order this month as of the 20th of April, and I think it officially rolls out May. And I will tell you exactly what day in May, if I can find it here. Un momento, por favor. But yeah, I guess the Solana bros are going to get to use their phones. I mean, the point of this phone is to have it's a crypto friendly mobile phone. It kind of honestly the way it's built reminds me of how Samsung had at some point in times, like you could have your Samsung private keys stored like within your device. So it's Android based, it's Web3 enabled, whatever that means. In my mind, it's just going to be like have you ever used MetaMask as an app? And it has
Yeah.
like the DApp web and all that stuff.
Right.
That is what my brain says this will be like. I'll have to find someone with this phone because I'm not sure how much they're selling it for, but I'm assuming
The
it's not for a little bit.
Yeah, it's $1,000.
It's $1,000.
Yep.
It's $1,000. Yeah. So basically, I think it's May 8th. I think I saw. Yeah, May 8th is when it'll be on sale to the public. So pre-order as of the 20th. On May 8th, it will be on order for the public, which is cool. But yeah, it has a pretty good amount of storage, 512 gigabytes. It has two back cameras. I wonder how good they are. I mean, I feel like you can't drop $1,000 phone and have a crappy camera. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, they
But
have to
yeah,
be able to
we'll see
compete.
how that rolls out. Android operating system, yeah, that's not too bad. So it's, at least it's connected to, you know, your Google and all those Play stores and all that stuff. So it could be worse. But yeah, let's see how it, I guess, hangs on compared to all the other smartphone devices that exist. I remember that I think it was HTC was trying to drop, I think it was like Exodus. It was like they were trying to like make this, you know, crypto friendly phone, and I don't even know what happened to that. It like kind of just came and went. I don't even know if they ever released it, but there's been a lot of I guess ways of people trying to push this idea of smart devices, in comparison to like the ledger and all this stuff in like a smartphone. This is definitely not the first time we're seeing this. There's a lot of people skeptical about the private keys and how it works with these cell phones and whether or not your private keys are actually your private keys. I'm wondering if these cell phones have built-in wallets, and whether or not the wallets, you know, like where is this stuff kept? They probably have a similar process, something kind of to like Ledger.
Yeah,
I'm
so
assuming where everything's
so
kind of like
so
pre-made, pre-built.
yeah, so the way that it's set up, it's like having a ledger within your phone. So
Yeah,
your wallet is not part of like the software. Your wallet is part of the hardware. So there's a disconnect so that it won't get hacked, so that you can't get hacked type of thing. So and then in order to use your wallet, you have to sign transactions using your fingerprint. So it's pretty cool. Also, you can just go onto onto the DeFi apps basically, without having to connect your wallet every time. You just have All you have to do is again use your fingerprint to log on. And you're gonna have
I think theoretically this sounds a little dangerous. Because if I see somebody with this phone, I'm going to assume that they have crypto on that phone. And you
and
know,
not
there's
a little
people who,
crypto.
yeah, exactly. Like, and there's people who have gotten robbed in countries, you know, just by wearing like a mutant ape shirt. I've had friends who have gotten jumped, and if somebody is aware of this device, they can be like, "Oh snap, that person has a Solana phone. So and so, let's go get them." You know, like it's almost like strange. It's like wearing a ledger around your neck, but I mean, it's your phone. Like I mean, you have to have it, you know, cased, and it's
Yeah.
something I don't really want to do. Like the idea of having your private keys is to have them away and at home, and your wallet away, to be able to literally like it kind of like goes back to the problem of a hot wallet. And I mean, you might as well just keep all your money on a hot wallet if you're going to buy a phone that you're going to walk around with, that you know, pray to God you don't lose it. It just seems like not the thing you want to do, to be completely honest. The idea of having a device that's home locked away, and you know, maybe have like a 2FA or something with it, seems much more practical than walking around with, you know, 30, 40, 50,000 dollars on your cell phone, if not more. It just seems crazy.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because
It seems crazy.
if you have this phone, obviously you don't just have $1,000 in crypto. Like
Probably not.
I'm thinking if you're willing to invest in something like this, and you probably have a lot more than that. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's gonna
it's
be interesting,
yeah.
and I think it'll be interesting to see how it develops, you know, going forward. But I'll be watching. I'll be looking for reviews and seeing how it works and all that. I think it's an interesting concept. Um, we'll see how it works.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nag me, because I just I don't see it. I don't see it for the purpose of security. It's just like a really, really bad security option to have. Like you really like ideally you.
Oh, I don't know. I think she got disconnected or something. She left the call. Are you back? There you are.
Discord hates me. It just keeps ending the calls like on purpose. Anyways, yeah, just bad security risk overall. I don't think it was a good idea to begin with. I don't know who thought this was going to be a good idea, but hey. Anyways,
Anyways, the last thing that I just remembered I had added here, something that happened today. Bittrex received a Wells notice from the SEC for violating investor protection laws. So
not
they,
surprised.
yeah,
Going after everyone.
yeah. So it started to wind down into operations in the United States pretty recently, and now we know why. And I remember when I actually first started getting into crypto, Bittrex was actually one of the first exchanges that I used to get into altcoins. Back then there weren't a lot of options, and Bittrex is one of the the best options at the time to get into a lot of different altcoins. So even though I don't use it and I haven't used it in a while, it is sad to see. I don't know. Did you ever use Bittrex?
I don't think I did, to be honest.
No. Okay.
No, I don't think I did, and it's probably why, because they were just like, yeah, I think Binance was pretty much my first go-to when I got into crypto, because I got in a little later in 2017. The first time I tried to buy, I think it was Bitcoin, was like 2015, and like my bank was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, no, you can't get this. And then after that, like I just pretty much forgot about it until like that bull run was coming, and then I was just like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
And yeah, by then Binance and all those were around. So
Yeah, the first time I tried to buy crypto was probably back in like 2013, and I wasn't able to buy it, and I couldn't figure it out, and I got like frustrated, and I was just like, forget this, and then I didn't end up buying, and then I was able to buy in 2015 or 2016 in that range. I was able to get I think Bitcoin was at like $500 or $600 during that time when I first was able to actually buy. But I didn't really do too much. I didn't put a lot of money into it. It's just something that I kind of left in there by mistake, to be honest. I had to buy Bitcoin in order to back then you couldn't really legally, I guess, bet on sports and stuff in the US. So you had to do it through crypto. So that's how I was moving the money. And I had left some in the wallet, and then like a year later, I go to like delete the app. It was Coinbase. I go to delete Coinbase, and I saw that I had like $2,000 in there or something like that. And I was like, $2,000. I was like, where did this money come from? And it was that I had left like one or two, I don't know, a few $100, and it turned into $2,000. And I was like, what? So that's when I really got into crypto and started like basically obsessing over it. And during that time when I got into altcoins, Bittrex was one of the main exchanges to
tell them to get their coins together, because there is a problem and they might be hacked and stolen.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's a security risk, red flag.
Uh-oh. All right, so
Uh-oh.
yeah, uh-oh. So let's jump into the next section here that I want to. Let's go ahead and jump into. We're at the halfway mark, so let's jump into our Bitcoin price analysis. We're gonna talk about the weekly close, current support and resistance levels, some possible bullish scenarios, possible bearish scenarios, and exactly how I'm looking to play it this week. We're also gonna talk about the main thing we're gonna be talking about today during this section is Bitcoin dominance and alt season. So two of the biggest topics going on right now in the crypto space. If you've been listening to either traders or crypto Twitter, where people are just always talking things, yeah. So that's what we're gonna jump into today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. As you guys know, first let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. Since we went live, the price of Bitcoin has been going up. I think we have something to do with it, if I'm being honest. I think we're pumping up the price because when we first got
Let's
on,
go.
the price was 29,400. I think it might have even been below 400 when we first started, and now it's at above 29,500. I think we have something to do with it. So you're welcome, for you guys, if you're listening, if you're watching this live right now. We do this every Monday, so if you want to catch the pump every Monday when we go live, make sure to tune in. Anyways, right now, so let's start off with the weekly, on the weekly chart here. So as you guys see, last week we had another green week. We went up over 7%, and we're starting to see basically a pattern here. We can see that we have this one big candle, right? And then before that, we had 3 doji candles, basically indecisive candles, and one big candle after that. Then before that, we had 3 red candles and 1 big candle. Then we had 3, 2 red, 1 green, and then 2 big ones. So just so that you know, these big green candles that we've seen basically once a month has been every time we get the CPI report. So the CPI report has been basically helping to pump the price of Bitcoin. It's been, one of the catalysts that's been helping pump the price of Bitcoin here this year. Every time we've gotten one of these big green candles, it's been due to the inflation data, inflation going down, people hoping that interest rate hikes are gonna stop or pause or get lowered or whatever the case has been, and that's what's helped the overall markets to pump up during once a month basically. So that's why when we opened the show, we're talking about we don't there's nothing big again until May. So we could potentially see another 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of this right here, where price is just kind of ranging, right? So you saw here for 3 weeks straight, price ranged between, at this point it was between 26,000 to 29,000, right? For 3 weeks straight. I wouldn't be surprised if the next 3 weeks we range anywhere between 28,000 to 30, maybe even push it up to 32,000. I wouldn't be surprised. Another thing that we're watching here that's also a resistance here, other than the obvious red box resistance that I drew here for you guys, that we're currently at the end of, by the way. If we can just break above this, we can potentially really see that opening up to like that $36,000 range that I've been speaking about there. But other than that, right, we have this resistance here. This you see this trend line here, and this began back in January, beginning of the year. And it's actually, if we go to the daily here, we can see a little bit more clearer. It's as we've been moving up, we've been basically stopped by that trend line. You can see it happened here. Then we went down. We set up a new higher high. We dropped. We went back up, set up a new higher high, and guess where we got stopped? Right at that trend line, right? Then we dropped back down. Then this recent move up, we moved up, it got stopped again by the same trend line that's a resistance. And now, in the last week when we moved up, guess what we just hit? We hit that same trend line that's been that dynamic resistance line that has continued and kind of guided the way for Bitcoin over these last few months. So there is a potential here that we drop back down, set up a higher low here, right around $28,000 to $29,000, and then in the next coming weeks, if we stretch this out, we can see something potentially where we just kind of continue following this trend line, right? And eventually it's going to lead us up here to that $36,000 range that we've been speaking about for a little bit. But that's something that we're watching at, together with this big resistance that we're at right now. We also have this one right here that we're watching. So just something to watch right now. Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at was Bitcoin's dominance. So if you don't know, Bitcoin dominance has a lot to do, and basically everything to do with ALTSzN, because if you don't know what Bitcoin dominance is the market share in the entire cryptocurrency space, right? So it's instead of thinking it as Bitcoin dominance, just think of it as Bitcoin's market share in crypto. So right now that number is at 46.92. So all that means is that 46. Oh, I think I got disconnected for a second there. I'm not sure what happened with OBS. But if we look back to 2021, we can see this resistance that Bitcoin's dominance has hit basically for the last 2 years, where every time we've run into this number, which sits right around between 48 to 49%, Bitcoin's dominance has at that point fallen. And what happens every time that Bitcoin's dominance falls? Well, it depends. So during a bull market, if Bitcoin's dominance falls, that means that altcoins dominance goes up, right? So that means that money is flowing out of Bitcoin into altcoins, and that's what creates that ALTSzN. So now in a bear market, it's not the same, because if Bitcoin's dominance is falling, but at the same time overall prices for crypto is falling, that means that not only is money going out of Bitcoin, but it's going out of crypto, period, right? It's not going out of Bitcoin into altcoins. It's going out of Bitcoin into fiat. So if we look back in May, when basically the entire market just tanked, right? A lot of that was money going out of Bitcoin into fiat, not really into crypto. So if we look at the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin here, we can see it. And I don't know what's going on, but I continue to get disconnected from OBS. I don't know if the live stream is disconnecting or not. But my OBS keeps telling me that I was disconnected and reconnected. I don't know what's going on with that. But
I think it just keeps dropping me for some reason. It thinks I'm in the call by myself. That's the message I keep getting.
Oh, I think something might be going on with my internet. I was having issues earlier today, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But
I don't know. Ironically, like, I hear you, but then it's like you're by yourself, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
I don't know. I'll have to look back on the live stream and see if it got cut off or not. Because I'm looking at it, it says we're live, and there's no way it hasn't told me anything that we've fallen off. So I'll just keep on chucking. But yeah. So looking at the Bitcoin dominance, if we look at the same date that that altcoins were dropping, which was from April 22. So let's look at April 22. Let's see what was happening with Bitcoin's dominance. All right, here we go. April 22nd, right? April 4th. So you saw Bitcoin's dominance went up. It shot up. So during that time, guess what happened to altcoins? Altcoins dropped. And then now here we see starting in June, all the way till August, the altcoin market cap went up. So if we look at Bitcoin dominance throughout, so it wasn't going out of. Oh, now it's okay. Now I'm reconnected again. I don't know what is going on here. But if we see at the same date, Bitcoin's dominance in June to August, Bitcoin's dominance dropped from 48% down to 39%. And if we look at the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, it went up during that time. So it went up by $211 billion. So that means a bunch of money went into altcoins, meaning that altcoins ran up during that time. So that's why it's important to note and to look at Bitcoin's dominance, because it can tell us when an ALTSzN is about to trigger, right? Or when altcoins are about to rally. This is an indicator for it. And right now we're at a big resistance in Bitcoin dominance. So if we fall down here, like we've done in the past, the last 1, 2, 3 times we've ran into this resistance, every time it's fallen here, that's either because the money was just leaving completely out of crypto, But I think that's not going to be the case right now. I think the case would be money flowing out of crypto, out of Bitcoin, I'm sorry, into altcoins, which is what's been causing, if we look back at the top gainers and losers over the last 7 days, what's been causing these big rallies in altcoins. So again, I don't think we're not in an out season yet. Like when outs start, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10xing. But I do believe we're seeing a little mini altcoin season. So the same way there's like mini lobster seasons. I don't know if there's anybody that fishes and goes lobstering, but there's like little mini lobster seasons. I think we're having a little mini altcoin season right now. I think this probably continues to drop, especially over the next 3 weeks, until we run into another catalyst in the beginning of May, when we get the Fed interest rate decision and the CPI data release again. Maybe Bitcoin's dominance goes back up to retest this, but I think for now we might continue to see this dropping here for the next few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if we drop back to around 45 and below. So dropping down below 45% would mean a increase in altcoins, as long as the money keeps flowing into those altcoins there. So that's definitely something to watch there for those that are trying to catch those rallies from the altcoins. So and another thing that I'm actually doing a video on this week. Let me see if I have it here. So check this out, Bitcoin Queen. I basically went back in time to 2016, I think it was. I'm trying to find, I don't know where I put the charts here, but I went back in time, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to look at the top 100 coins, and basically I wanted to know how from the bear market, the previous bear market, to the top of the previous bull market, how they performed, right? So I grabbed a snapshot of the bottom of the bear market I think, well, this is actually this one in 2017. After the 2017 rally in 2018, I got the top 100 coins data for the top 100 coins, took all their prices, market cap, everything, right? And then I compared it to the top of 2021 because I wanted to see what that difference was. And it's crazy. I don't know where I put the spreadsheet right now. I know it's here somewhere. But the results were actually pretty crazy. The main thing that I learned was that the safest option to put your money is in the top 25 coins. Regardless if some top 25 coins fall off, it showed that it was by far the safest option to have your money in there, because it outperformed. If I broke it down into 4 different areas, into top 25, 26 through 50, 51 through 75, 76 through 100, and top 25 outperformed all of them, right? Even though there were coins that were not in the top 25 in 2018 that at 2021 were in there, we didn't count those. We only counted what was in the top 25 in 2018 at the bottom of that bear market. And even though some of those fell out of the top 25, they still went up in price by a lot, and you would have made a lot of money. So I think if you would have evenly spread, and again, I can't find the spreadsheet right now, so I'm just kind of ballparking, but if you would have evenly spread $1,000 through the top 25 coins, and I actually just found the spreadsheet while I was saying this, if you would have done an even spread of $1,000 in the top 25 coins, you would have had, by the top of the run, you would have had $486,000. So let me pull up the sheet right here really quick. So here it is. These are the top 10 coins back in 2018, and their price. You can see Bitcoin was at $3,000. XRP was at 36 cents. Ethereum was at $85. look at Stellar and EOS, which are, I don't think are anywhere near the top 25 right now, but they were in there. Litecoin was at $23. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV was a top coin at the time. Tron was there, and Cardano was the 10th one there. And look at the difference between them, between 2018 bear market and the top of 2021 of the bull run. So, and then you can see the percentage change here, with the biggest one being Cardano, went up over 6,000%. The second biggest one was Ethereum, over 5,000%. And then again, and I did this all the way down to 100. So you can see here, these are the top 100 coins in 2018, and their price change in 2021. So out of all that data, you know, if you would have put $1,000 in each of them, this was by far the biggest return on your investment here. And you can see out of the top 25, 0 of those projects went to 0. So none of them busted. But then once you start going into 26 through 50 and beyond, you can see that 7 of those busted, went to 0 or went negative throughout that time. 51 through 75, again, another 7 either went to 0 or went negative. And 76 through 100, the further back you go, the more projects bust. So 9 projects either went to 0 or ended up negative. And the biggest return by far was the top 25. So again, this is something that we always say, but stick to the safe coins, the big projects, the ones that are trustworthy, right? And it basically all goes back to that. I'll be doing a full video on this week. You know, I did all the data and research last week, so I'll be recording it this week. Now to end it, last thing I want to talk about what I'm doing this week in the market. Right now, I'm just sitting, right? I'm sitting tight. I'm just gonna see what happens. What happened?
You're a sitting duck.
Yeah, well, not a sitting duck, because a sitting duck gets shot, right, and dies. So I wouldn't say I'm a sitting duck. I'm just sitting tight. I'm sitting on my hands, right? Doing nothing. Disconnected again, and now I'm reconnected again. If we go above 30, then I might take some scalps in that range, but nothing crazy. I'm gonna have very low risk there. Below 29 is where I would put a little bit more risk on to buy that dip, because it's only a matter of time before we start continue upwards, I think. And still, you know, I spoke about it a few weeks ago, and we still have that bearish divergence, right? If we look here at the indicators, let's look up RSI really quickly. So if we look at this and we draw trend lines, right? So the trend in the RSI is still to the downside, while the trend on the price is to the upside, creating that bearish divergence. So we're still seeing that bearish divergence. So there has to be a pullback at some point, right? So at this point, we're just kind of waiting. This might be the time, these next 3 weeks. It might be when we start seeing some sort of pullback. You know, how far down we're gonna go, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna kind of sit tight and see what happens throughout this week. And it's probably gonna be a safer bet for you, probably to stay out of the market the next couple weeks until we start getting some more volatility back in the market. So that's kind of what I'm doing. That's kind of where my head's at right now for this week. Of course, things can change depending what news might come out or what price does, you know, from here on out for the rest of the week. So you can follow me on my socials, bitcoin.daily, if you aren't already doing so, where I'm usually updating throughout the week if I see anything that changes. So that's pretty much it as far as that. If you guys, I want to go into do some Q&A right now. So if you guys have any questions for me or the Bitcoin Queen, drop it in the comments section, and we'll be more than happy to answer those for you. But yeah, what do you think about everything that I just went over?
Well, there is a 30% chance my video is going to disconnect in a minute because it's done it 20,000 times. So I will say that I think overall, safe call. I think we are going into an altcoin season. It looks like AVAX was rallying this morning and a couple other currencies as well. So it's a good time to start looking into your Bitcoin alternatives if you are into that. If not, sit tight and just keep accumulating your sats.
I actually added today to some of my positions. As you guys
I don't
know,
know if you know.
I like to add
There you go.
at least once a week. And usually I wait for a day like today when prices are down. Then I dollar cost average into some of my favorite projects. You know, so I did some of that today. I added to some of my positions. Have you added recently to any of your favorite bags?
Honestly, I've been just buying mostly Bitcoin. I bought a little Ethereum, but mostly Bitcoin. I haven't bought in any altcoins. I'll have to check to see what I had. I had things like Optimism and some of the other layer twos kind of sitting in my bag a little bit, but dust of things. I've been accumulating some CKB. If anybody knows what CKB is, it stands for Common Knowledge Base. It's a Nervos cryptocurrency, which I like the ethos of the project. I'm a big fan of it. So that has been most of my altcoin accumulating.
Yeah, so I got disconnected again. Yeah,
Yeah, per
it's
usual. No, it keeps doing that.
yeah,
It's weird because Discord says I'm literally talking to myself
that's
and I'm all alone. And
that's
I don't
why.
know. It's making me sad. I don't know why it doesn't like me.
Yeah, so I guess on that note, let's wrap it up before we get disconnected again. Hopefully, our next live stream is a lot better. I'm not sure what's going on today with, I don't know if it's the internet, if it's YouTube, if it's OBS, if it's Discord. There's so many moving variants, moving parts, right? So
Yeah, it's cool. I'm getting texts from my friends saying that the Congress is going to fire Gary Gensler. So we'll see what happens throughout the week.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. You know, I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to talk about. We did the price updates, economic calendar for the week, news updates, market analysis, and the only thing we didn't do was a Q&A, but I didn't see any questions come in. And before we disconnect again, you know, I want to make sure that we're able to wrap this up. So again, thank you guys. We'll be here again next Monday, every Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing the same exact thing. Make sure to bring your questions for next one so that we can do a Q&A. Thanks again, guys. Any final words?
Keep stacking, and we will see you next week. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Peace out, homies.
There you go. Peace and love.